Hi there, I'm Square, and let's talk about anime. This week in Yashahime, we have episode 7. This episode starts out with the demon slayers teaming up with Toa to take out a spider demon. Toa seems to be improving her skills. She's able to sense out the demon and control her powers even better. Everyone actually comments on how well she seems to be adapting to this world. We then switch over to Kiyuki, one of the 4 perils, meeting up with Kirin Maru. She informs him of the death of Tokotsu and the loss of the red pearl. Kirin Maru barely reacts and seems to not even remember one of his own 4 perils. Kiyuki then leaves, saying she's going to get the red pearl back. Later in the episode, saying how much her powers would expand as she collects more pearls, hinting at her lack of loyalty to Kirin Maru. Setsuna and Toa spend some time together that evening and seem to be getting along pretty well, until Setsuna leaves Toa behind the next day, letting her sleep in. Toa takes this a little personally and decides to prove her worth by going out on her own to seek out the dream butterfly. On her way, Toa runs into Riku, a mysterious but friendly pirate. She helps him find water, and they have a little picnic together. Riku also shows off some sort of water-bending type power, seeming to use his earring. A blue, round earring, pearl-like one may say. To thank Toa for the food, Riku gives Toa the true version of her sword, the Kikujimonji, which then leads her to be framed for stealing it. She gets captured by the shogun and his men, and we see her in the same situation we saw her at the beginning of episode 1. Meanwhile, Moroha and Setsuna end up meeting up. Setsuna seeking out the lost Toa and Moroha seeking a bounty. Turns out they're going to the same place yet again. They are then attacked by Beartick, Fubuki the ice bear, who is sent out by Kiyuki to attack them. The 3 princesses work together to defeat the bear. After the battle, Toa's location is known and the other 2 go to retrieve her. We then end the episode the same way we ended episode 1, the girls chasing after the shape-shifting owl demon Yotsume. Looks like we finally caught up to where we were dropped in episode 1. I do like how they handled us catching up, showing us a bit of the same scenes but expanding on them. I like seeing that full picture and the little details of how everyone ended up there. It also has me really excited for the future because everything from here on out is just a mystery. We haven't had any scenes, I don't think yet, spoiled beyond this point. I was thinking though that by the time we reach this point in the story, the episode 1 starting point, the girls would be closer. I mean, Toa states pretty confidently that her friends will save her, but are they really that close yet? They've adventured together a bit, and Setsuna seems to care for Toa a bit and protects her and kind of looked for her when she was lost, even though she didn't want to admit it. But is that really enough for Toa's level of confidence? Moroha wasn't even heading that way looking for Toa. She only ended up there as a coincidence. Maybe Toa's faking confidence to intimidate her captors? Or maybe she sensed them coming and it gave her a sense of confidence? Or maybe she's just being naive again. Not to say Toa and Setsuna's bond isn't growing stronger, it definitely is. Setsuna seems to be warming to Toa a lot more. She played the violin for her and sought her out when she was lost. I do like how the relationship is going. It feels a bit more true to Setsuna's character, that slow to warm and trust others personality type. But what really stood out to me about this episode was what we saw of Kirin Maru and Riku. I'll talk about Riku next, but let's go over Kirin Maru first. First off, oh my gosh, Kirin Maru and Osamu Kirin, Toa's teacher, both have the same voice actor. It is so hard to deny those fan theories. The teacher is Kirin Maru in the future. Come on and just try to change my mind. But speaking of Kirin Maru as himself, this is the first time we've really seen him other than like people talking about him in flashbacks and like paintings. He did have a interesting presence. Mostly what stood out to me was his lack of emotion or care for anyone. Kyoki had to pretty much spell out who one of his own 4 perils was and why it was a big deal he was dead. Does Kiranmaru have so little care for his underlings? You're supposed to be his, like, great warriors, his closest fighters, right? Is this supposed to show how he looks down on everyone? Like they're so insignificant, they're dirt to him? Maybe it's hinting at a lost memory? He almost seems like a husk or shell of a person. Little reactions, no emotions, stilted voice, which has my fan theory brain going, but let's put a pin in that for now. We did get to finally see what he looks like, sorta. He was hidden under clothes and a mask, but we did get to see a green eye underneath, which really stood out to me. We don't really often see green eyes in the Inuyasha universe, plus they really focused on it. We got several frames of it zoomed in on his eye, which also made me notice another character with green eyes, Riku. So let's talk a little bit about Riku. They are an interesting character. It seemed they ran into Toa just coincidentally and gave her a gift that quickly led to her being captured, and that smirk after leads me to think Riku knew that would happen or maybe even planned it. But at the same time, Riku seemed to be really powerful. If they had a problem with Toa, couldn't they just attacked her? But instead, Riku left others to do the dirty work, or maybe they just wanted to see what would happen and was just amused by the whole thing. Was a rather interesting choice. Riku also mentions they're just a pirate now, no longer having a lord. And also at the same time, they seem to have one of the pearls. It's hard to deny that their earring is very pearl-like. It's blue, one we haven't seen yet. It seems to be pretty powerful, making them able to control water, perhaps. It would seem one to think that Riku is one of Kiranmaru's 4 perils, since they were all given pearls, right? But if Riku was dismissed or fired by him, since Riku says they no longer have a lord, why is Riku left alive and left with a pearl? Wouldn't Kiranmaru take it back? And wouldn't one think Kiranmaru wouldn't leave a powerful demon who he dismissed from his service alive? Doesn't make sense to have someone who has one of your most powerful items and knowledge of you and who you no longer want serving under you just leave them around to go and do as they please. So why is Riku allowed to run around like this? And we may get some answers. We probably will. And I might just be thinking too much into this again, but my fan theory brain is just going. So kind of ended up on 2 thoughts, 2 options. So option 1, which I feel is most likely, is maybe Riku is Kiranmaru's child. I mean, they both have the same eye color, which was often something we see among parents and children. It is an unusual eye color and one they did focus on in this episode, like they wanted our attention on those green eyes. Also, he probably has a pearl, which was given to the 4 perils by Kiranmaru, but Towa and Setsuna both have pearls as well. And Towa and Setsuna are children of the other demon lord, Sesshomaru. Riku was also allowed to be left alive despite not working for Kiranmaru anymore. Even a demon lord may have trouble killing their own child. And maybe Riku wasn't actually fired as an underling of Kiranmaru. Maybe, like many children do, Riku rebelled against his father, deciding to go his own way, find his own path. A parent could let their child go and grow their own wings and find their own way before coming home to continue the family business. It's possible. Or, option 2, maybe Riku and Kiranmaru are one and the same. A kind of Naraku and his incarnations type of deal. Or maybe even Kiranmaru could be a shapeshifter, and Riku's an identity he uses when he wants to wander around. We have seen a lot of shapeshifters in the Inuyasha universe. It's not out of the ordinary. Plus, if Kiranmaru is Osamu Kirin, the teacher, he would have to have some ability to alter his appearance. He didn't look like a demon in the future. So this isn't out of the question. Speaking of the teacher, Osama Kieran seemed to have a fascination with Toa in the few scenes we saw them together. Riku also seems to have a fascination with Toa in the few scenes we saw them together. And they left her unharmed when they did meet, which wouldn't make sense for one of the four perils or someone tied to Kieran Maru. Wouldn't you want to take out one of the other Demon Lord's children, especially one holding a pearl? Also, the Kieran Maru we saw in this episode seemed rather empty. No emotions, really. Didn't even remember one of his four perils. We also didn't see any of Kieran Maru's body under his armor and mask. We have no idea what he could look like under there, and maybe that armor is a way for him to hide his looks and identity from everyone, including his underlings like Kyoki. Maybe hiding his face and body would allow him to leave a sock puppet of sorts in his place so he could venture around as Riku. A sock puppet placeholder that could answer a few questions to keep up appearances, but wouldn't show his full personality or being. All we saw of Kieran Maru was an eye. The armor could be anyone, but the eye we did see seems to match Riku's. I don't know. It feels like there's something there. From what I've seen of the Inuyasha universe and Yashahime in general is they don't zoom in and focus on things unless they want you to notice them. Especially in animation, they aren't going to waste frames because that's a lot of work. This might mean something. I love this little tease. This lore and information slowly being let out and leaving it open for so many fan theories. Oh man, it has me truly hooked on this series. And honestly, looking at the episode preview, I can't wait for the next episode, but I won't say more in case people don't want to be spoiled. But oh my god, I'm so excited for the next episode. So if you're excited too, and you'd like to meet up with me again and see the fan art I make next week, please like and subscribe and follow me here. I really appreciate the support and I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. So I would love, love, love if you would join me again. And please have an artsy day.